is going on? I am super tired. I am I'm wrecked today. I gotta be honest. Usually I come to these super amped, ready to go, but man, it's been a long 2 days. I've been doing quite a bit. I did an interview for the channel a little bit ago today, and work has been heavy, heavy lately. What's going on? We already got lots of friends here. Uh, Ragnar, I'm loving always seeing your early comment. Always love seeing that. What's going on, Dave? My friend Brian, what's up? And Bruiser's here. What's going on? Eric, Lissa, Jeff, Zach. You guys are amazing. How's everybody's week going? It feels like a good week for me. Definitely tired. I got another vacation coming up here in a couple weeks that I am desperately looking forward to. Uh, as most of you guys know, I do producing for a couple podcasts, and it is ending the season on one of them, and I am very busy trying to finish up some of those episodes. I'm recording on some of those episodes this weekend, and this Saturday, my gosh, I'm already tired, but starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday, I am seeing all 8 of the Nightmare on Elm Street films back to back in a theater. I'm just hoping I can stay awake for most of them. So we'll see what's going on. We got Dead Sea Life. Hello, John is here. What's going up, John? John, I was going to DM you, but I'm just going to say this publicly. I hope you understand that after the season's over, I absolutely have to interview you. You know that, right? What's going on, other John? Video Man in. I am so sorry about the confusion on Tuesday. It was hilarious. What's up, Sardis? Hello. I have been seeing a lot of pickups lately. It feels like it's the fall pickup like season, I guess, is starting. We are seeing releases of some pretty big titles, obviously, and the stuff that's coming starting about a week and a half ago. It's starting to get pretty wild out there. We are, about to hit the horror month, but October is not seemingly super big for horror releases. There just seems to be a ton of stuff coming over the next couple months, and I hope everybody's being fairly responsible about what they're getting. This is what could be a very expensive fall for a lot of people, and so many people that are looking at these 4K upgrades, seeing seeing what some people are saying about these 4K upgrades. I understand it makes it difficult to look into those and say, hey, I want this again, but if their favorite film, sometimes it's the right one. But these catalog 4K upgrades are, let's see, I feel like this is a good one. I just got this in Bruges 4K. I haven't opened it yet because I literally just got it, but this is the type of movie that I'm gonna love a 4K upgrade for. And yeah, just can't wait. There's so many great titles coming out. Let me see here. 8 movies takes me days to get through one. Me too, usually. This is a very special thing for me. I talked my wife into letting me go with another YouTuber. Otherwise, I would never be able to do it. It's impossible, especially with kids at home. Video Man says, doing an update video today, hit YouTube tomorrow. 103 new titles just in the last month. See, that's what I'm talking about. This fall is crazy. Ragnar, I heard seeing other people at the Shaw Brothers box set and have to wait 2 months. I agree. I think it's odd when some people were sending them out, Grindhouse specifically, and then Arrow, after they started sending titles out, then they delayed it. I mean, it's an odd situation, but yeah. When the Scream sale came up, I had to jump on it, says Jeff. Yeah, they're decent titles, decent prices too. Quiet Rob, my friend, you showed up in less than 4 minutes after we started. You missed nothing. Managed to snag one too. Price was good. Let's see. Past couple weeks ordered Count Yorga set. Nice. And Rollerball returning. that Return of the Living Dead release is going to be incredible for sure. Yep, one of the best of all time. Absolutely. Great comedy. One of my favorites. I should make a vlog of the Nightmare of Elm Street marathon. I've been trying to think about what to get out of it, because I believe there's going to be a short little break between each one. So I don't know if I'll just do one video, where I take a couple clips between every film, and then at the lunch break we'll recap everything that we've seen so far, and then again at the end of the night. Either way, it's going to be forever long. I think like I said, the first film starts at 10 a.m. and I believe the last film starts at like 10:45 or 11:45 p.m., one of the two. It's going to be a long damn day. I'm excited, but also trying to be, realistic that I'm a parent that works a lot and I'm going to be exhausted already. So we'll see. I feel like I'm going to try to make the best of it for sure. And I definitely don't want to fall asleep, but we'll see. Oh man, Deep Star 6 and Deep Rising, two really good films. Deep Rising is great. I just watched that again recently. Let's get into some announcements, huh? First off, before we do, let me make sure it's still down as I'm speaking to you. The release calendar. Oh, never mind. It's starting to work. I was going to say that it was broken and down, but it looks to be working now. Blu-ray.com was having issues with their release calendar. So now that it's working, I'm going to get it set up for a second. It'll take about 5 more seconds. All right. Sharing some announcements. We already went through most of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff together last week. And honestly, the fact that we don't have a lot of details is going to make this go fairly quick for the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. The main thing that we don't have special features on pretty much any of these, I don't think. So as everybody knows by this point, and I've known for a little bit, we are getting Roadhouse in 4K as the next VSU from Vinegar Syndrome. We don't know any extras. I know a couple people involved, but I don't think they're announcing yet. But I will say this box looks kind of amazing. I'm really curious. This is the first time they've done this. It says artwork subject to change on the outside of this, but this picture makes it look like they have a full box ready to go. So I'm not entirely sure how that's working. But yeah, interesting. Then we got an announcement for The Invisible Maniac in 4K. This is the Adam Rifkin film. Most people that have seen this, which I have not yet, I have never had a chance to pick up basically a bootleg copy that was going around for forever. Never got a chance to get that, and most people hate this, basically, because it's a terrible movie. But it's Adam Rifkin, a friend of the channel. Jeremy Long is close friends with him, so I'm probably gonna, I'm a subscriber, so I'll get this one. I'm cautiously optimistic about this for sure. Let's take a look at the next one. Was there anything attached to Invisible Maniac? No? All right. I thought I could have swore there was something else first. Then we got the Homegrown Horrors 2 announcement. This is Moonstalker from 89, Dead Girls from 1990, and Hanging Heart from 1983. And what they say about these ones make it sound pretty interesting. But yeah, again, no features listed, so we'll find out more about this coming soon. The craziest thing is that as we are doing the announcements for Black Friday stuff, this is the cool time, because we get this the weekend before the end of September, and then in 2 days we get another full round of Vinegar Syndrome stuff in October. So it's gonna be a very Vinegar Syndrome heavy time for a little while, and then right after that, basically, it'll feel like it's time for the sale. So we shall see. Homegrown Horrors Volume 2 is coming in Black Friday, just like the rest of these. And I believe this is the last title other than the secret titles. This one is Burning Paradise from 1994. This is the Ringo Lam film, directed by Shuey Hark, produced by the director Shuey Hark. Our latest dive into Hong Kong genre cinema is action master Ringo Lam's period fantasy epic. From its astonishing fight choreography to its nonstop carnage, this unusually dark martial arts sleeper is considered one of Lam's most underrated films, and like I said, produced by Shui Hark. I've heard incredible things about this one. I trust Foo for Thought, who is a friend of the channel, one of the patrons, has a podcast. He is one of the ones that has really raved about this one. Most people that have seen it seem to be very excited about this. One that has been on my to watch list for a long time, but again, not been super easy to see in high quality. So very eager for more Hong Kong titles, always. Eric, talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, says, reminds me of the time back in college when we watched the entire second season of Twin Peaks, except for the final episode, in one night after watching the first season. Twin Peaks is a mind fuck enough, but that is a lot in one night for sure. Olympia Washington does 6 movies in a program called All Freaking Night. Nice. The New Bev in Hollywood, they usually do like a 5-film marathon every month for one night. But the cool thing about theirs is it's like a lottery. You don't know what is going to play until you get there. Usually you'll know like a theme, but that's about it. Ragnar says 4K really hurts us first generation media collectors because you're basically buying a movie for the 4th goddamn time. Yes, essentially. And that's why for a lot of people, I would honestly really suggest saying really only upgrade for the favorites or the ones that you're going to watch a lot. There is an interview that I've recorded that's going to be coming out, and I think that this person had a really healthy look at it, and essentially it was, do I have a pretty good copy of it already? Then I might not need to get it on 4K. However, I would also point out that doesn't mean it's great to, complain about the 4K coming out. It's not taking the place of other stuff. There is only so many resources out there, but there are other collectors that want it on 4K and are able to. So yeah, I understand the format wars suck, and it's been like this for all of them. I mean, people that were collecting VHS when Laserdisc started coming out, they had the same feeling. Then, possibly even worse, when Laserdisc was, going away and DVD came out, it was even worse because there was a lot of reasons to upgrade to DVD. It was cheaper, it was smaller, it was, basically promising to be very high quality, even though it ended up being SD. And then the move to Blu-ray was all about picture quality, and then 4K is the same thing. But as we are getting higher in quality there, it is turning into one of the it's more of a niche reason to upgrade, which makes sense. Let's see. John says they did the same artwork subject to change with Dracula. I think you mean Flesh for Frankenstein. I think it covers them on the inner slip. Yes, probably on the inner slip, which it would have been nice if we got more pictures of that. Dang. Eric saw Burning Paradise theatrically in the 90s. That's pretty awesome. Remember all the Scream Factory box set rumors of A Nightmare on Elm Street? They died. Yeah, that's because it was faked. The big one that took everybody by storm, I'm not even going to say the name of the account because he's such a terrible person. Most of you in the comments probably know who I'm talking about, but he basically said, this is confirmed coming from Scream Factory 4K box set, and all of the pictures of the cover art on the discs, they were all taken from old Fright Rags t-shirts. And so many people, shared away and clicked like and gave this guy so much engagement over something that was very clearly fake. And because I'm one of the admins of one of the Scream Factory groups on Facebook, I still have to, delete people talking about the when is that Nightmare on Elm Street box set coming? It's so annoying. It's so annoying. It was so fake. Sardis says upgrading the TV is what costs the money. Depending on what kind of TV you're getting, sure. But I'd also argue that they've actually gone down a lot in price. The TVs that used to be, 65 inches, 4K OLEDs, that when it was the first year, they were like $6,000, $7,000. It's way less than that now, for sure. Scream Factory slowed down, haven't had anything big since Friday the 13th, just 4K reissues and site exclusives. I mean, there's been a lot more than a few side exclusives, first of all, which is dumb, absolutely horrendous. But yeah, I'm with. What is the best way to say this? With Scream Factory, there hasn't really been any box sets this year. You could maybe count these 3 Halloweens because the studio demanded that they be sold together, but it's not really an actual box set. Like when we got, even I'm not even talking about Friday the 13th, but something like The Omen or The Fly. Where are those? There are so many others that were, they are possible to come out, and we're not getting any of them. Doesn't make any sense. Josephine is here. First time watches since last time. Devil in a Blue Dress. That's a great one. And Altered States. That's a fun movie. It is. Maybe fun isn't the right word. Altered States is really good. Let's talk about those mystery titles. So the Vinegar Syndrome Flash pre-order event was live. You can order all those things, but the mystery titles, we got some clues. That's not even close to being all, as there's 2 more titles which we're not going to tell you about. Perhaps the craziest of the bunch, the surprise titles. One of which is a big budget sleaze epic with an equally epic cast, and the other a delirious celebration of murder and mayhem that ranks amongst the more over-the-top entries in the annals of 80s slashers. We can basically guarantee that you're not going to be disappointed. Now, that first clue, a lot of people were taking the epic cast side and were immediately thinking Caligula. And with a cast that features like Helen Mirren, I can see that. I can see that being a title that is epic, and it's certainly sleazy. Tinto Brass, one of the sleaziest directors, would not be upset with that. I honestly would love to have a good release of that. I think I've got a really old out of print blue or DVD of that one here somewhere. I'm not sure who put that out previously. Was that a Blue Underground title at some point? I don't remember. That was, man, that is going to bug me till I go find it. But then there's been some other guesses that could make some sense with this one too. The second clue that we got, and as we've hopefully demonstrated in the past, we often save the weirdest and wildest films as surprises, and this upcoming set will be no different, including a film that has joined the ranks of legendary "how did this get made with these people starring in it" exploitation epics, and the other the crazy debut film from a director who's clearly loved the slasher and giallo genres as much as we all do, resulting in an effortlessly entertaining slice of murderous perversity. You really can't go wrong. Really, really cool. Really broad hints. I feel like Caligula definitely does fit those, but I'm hesitant to say it's for sure Caligula. I feel like that would be a difficult get for them right now, and not just because of the cast necessarily, but it's just one of those titles that has been a little difficult. And last I heard, there might have been some elements issues with that one. Anyways, that is Vinegar Syndrome. I believe that's it. Yeah. So Vinegar Syndrome stuff, we will highlight as usual when November comes. I will do at least one or two box. Not box. I was reading Ragnar's comment. 1 or 2 videos on recommendations, especially stuff from the last year, since I've done a few of the videos in the past. I will share those again. We'll talk about them, but mostly want to stick to the newer titles that are going to be on sale for the first time, and keep an eye on those partner label stuff coming out as well. I mean, we talked about last week with the newly formed going out of print section of the website, that there could be something going on there. We might hear more about that on the 1st. We might hear more about that next month or whatever. It could be a few different things, or it could be nothing. So we shall see. Now, not an announcement, but I did put up this interview with Jill, who directed The Stylist, that was put out by Arrow Video. If you did not, I highly recommend checking out that video. And I'm curious. I'm thinking about possibly branching out to talking to more filmmakers instead of just people in these boutique labels. Not that it's something that, there's still a plethora of people on my list of people I want to interview in the boutiques, but it's just a busy time of the year. And some people that are filmmakers, they might be on a downturn, for holiday stuff coming up. What do you think? Curious to see what people think. If they'd like to hear me talk to some filmmakers, not sure how many people have checked this out. I noticed it got, some less, not that I'm necessarily in this for the views, but it seems like this wasn't nearly as popular as the label interviews. So let me know what you think. I'm curious because I would like to talk to some of these other filmmakers for the channel if it's something you're into. Sarda says, is Kay Parker alive? Yes, she even, I believe, still does conventions too. Yeah, interesting, super interesting. Next up, we got, I've not talked about Ronin flicks in ages, it feels like. We got a couple Ronin flicks exclusives coming on October 18th from Ronin flicks, and available to pre-order now is a copy of Becky from 2020. This is the film that was with Joel McHale, Kevin James, and got some really good reviews. I've not seen this one yet. It's a fairly modern film. I just haven't got around to it. I think I almost watched this one day, and I watched that. What was the name of it? The Vince Vaughn one. Was it Freaky? I think that's what it was called. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. My wife chose that one over this, so we did not watch this one yet. But this is pretty interesting. It's got nice art on the slipcover, of course, as usual. But then it's got some good special features on here. We got introductions from the directors. We got directing. We got like an interview featurette with the directors as well. We got No Laughing Matter with Joel McHale. And then the main actor here in the middle, Lulu Wilson. She gets a little interview. And then fan art, behind the scenes photo galleries, and an audio commentary. So that's pretty cool. And I believe if you pre-order before a certain date, like the 5th of October, I think it was, you do get this a little bit cheaper. So I've heard that it's pretty decent, actually. So yeah, check that out. There is one other option though, and I got to be honest, I'm a little more interested in this one. This is Nightmare Man from 2006, is being released by Ronin Flicks. This is going to be on Blu-ray for the first time with over 60 minutes of extras, including a new interview featurette. This is from Rolf Kanefsky, and it's a brilliant gem of independent horror. After receiving a demonic African mask in the mail, Ellen Morris is attacked in her dreams by an evil being she calls Nightmare Man, and is labeled a paranoid schizophrenic by both her doctor and her husband. When Ellen is brutally attacked again, this time after being abandoned on the side of the road while being transported to the hospital, she flees for her life and stumbles upon a remote cabin filled with friends. Of course, remote cabins, always the safest places to run to. Unsure if the demon is real or not, everyone at the house unknowingly becomes prey to Ellen's mysterious and ever-elusive killer. A throwback to the terrifying slasher films of the 80s, Nightmare Man is one hell of a fun ride that will keep you guessing until the very end. This gets a Making of Nightmare Man featurette, including interviews with the director and Tiffany Shepis, who is in this. Then we've got some extended scenes, a little making of, behind the scenes, a gag reel, and then a film score audio-only track, which is kind of cool. Demonic mask in the mail. How much was shipping? It depends on where she got it from. Maybe she bought 3 and got it 3 free at Orbit. What's going on, Flex? Glad to see you here. Does Ronin do in-house transfers? I don't think so. That is a great question. I believe they are all handed to them. They work with Scorpion Releasing a lot, though. So they may use some of the Scorpion Releasing, their resources for some of these. Not entirely sure. Becky was released by Artsploitation. Yes, I believe I have that release before, which is probably why I'm not going to get this new one, to be honest. Lissa watched Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac Volume 1 and 2, the director's cut. I have had those on my to-watch list soon for quite some time, and I really need to go into that. Yes, Ragnar, we are about to talk about that in just a couple minutes, I swear. But yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Next up, the Blue Underground sale at mvdsale.com has been extended. It will now be going until what is the new ending date? I did not see. Today. And it ended today. Never mind. I won't spend any time. I could have swore it was tomorrow. Who ends a sale on a Friday? Or a Thursday? It should have been ending on the Friday. That's odd. Sorry. I've wasted more time there than I should have. Kino Lorber releasing 1942's Stranger in the House with a new 2K restoration. This is based on a novel by George Simenon. I don't know anything about this one, but love that they're continuing to put out, 5 titles a week, basically. Kino also announced a big one to go with your Vinegar Syndrome Death Wish 2 on 4K. Kino Lorber is putting out Death Wish on UHD from 1974, the original. That one, we don't have a release date yet, but it is going to have an HDR and Dolby Vision master on it. Thank goodness. Brand new 4K scan of the OCN. Curious how this is going to look like. This is one I'm probably going to have to get. This is one of the Bronsons that are certainly important. Josephine watched Blonde today. Lots of people divided on that one. Let's see. Sardis says he bought their entire inventory. That's great. Quite liked it. Andrew Dominik's visual techniques were cool. I think the controversy surrounding it is BS. I think that they got the NC-17 as a PR stunt. It certainly feels like. Kino Lorber, that feels like a Stan Geezy joint over there. And I'm glad. I mean, obviously, you and Will have been involved in certain things and involved Kino. Jeff K, early Goldblum in Death Wish. Yes, certainly one that he went a little under the radar with that one. As I alluded to last week, Clerks 3 is getting a Best Buy exclusive 4K Steelbook. This can be pre-ordered now on the Best Buy site. Now, keep in mind, because of what I mentioned last week, you may be more interested in this than you think. This is seemingly, so far, the only 4K physical release of this that has been announced. So if you want the new Clerks film in 4K, you pretty much got to get this Steelbook. The digital releases will be available in 4K, but if you want a physical copy, this is the one that you're going to have to get, potentially. I don't like that they're doing that. I think I talked about this last week. I don't like that there are, formats held hostage by some of these exclusives. It's not even that it's expensive, because it's a fairly inexpensive brand new release for this. I think it's less than $25, but it shouldn't be like that. People should have options as much as possible. But yeah, it's available. You can pre-order it now. Comes out on December 6th, just like the Blu-ray release. This one is kind of cool. Coming on October 11th is a release called The History of Metal and Horror. Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes. Really kind dude, by the way. If you ever get a chance to talk to Michael Berryman at a con, dude is fantastic. He is so kind. He will stand there and talk to you for basically as long as you'll let him. He is incredibly thoughtful and just willing to spend time with fans that a lot of other people are not. Michael Berryman rocks. Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes explores the history of heavy metal music and horror and how the two genres crossed paths. Various metal artists share their introductions to horror, influences, and more. Icons also discuss how their films have influenced the genre, their connections to metal artists, and why metal and horror work together. There is, illustrated by commentary from industry giants. Mike Schiff includes a narrative wraparound film that sets up each chapter of the documentary. And from what I read, Berryman is very much like a narrator going on this, although he is going to be speaking, and for sure. This is one that I definitely want to get. This looks great. Eric is asking, is there going to be a 4K standard release for Event Horizon? Not that I know of. At least not announced yet. That is such a big title for them that I imagine they will announce one. But nothing yet, sadly. Josephine, have a good night. And man, everybody is standing up for Michael Berryman. I love that. And Eric says Burning Paradise is awesome. That is really good to know. I can't wait to see it. It seems like the titles that Vinegar Syndrome is picking out for their Asian releases so far, really, really great choices. Ones that people have wanted for a long time, ones that, sort of fit the Vinegar Syndrome mold. And I'm happy with them. They've been doing pretty good work on those. Indicator gave us a pretty big update, and gonna dive into this one a little bit, as well as talking about some rumors. A slightly different newsletter from Indicator after our recent schedule changes and the early announcement of our December titles in last month's newsletter. The dates that they want you to know is that Madigan, Robin Hood at Hammer, and The Swimmer, those are all UK only titles, were released earlier this month. Orders to Kill, that is US only, was released last week. Universal Noir #1 in the UK only was released, will be released in October. The micro budget cinema of Michael J. Murphy will be available in November, and we round off the year with Enter Santo, The Big Gun Down, and Remember the Night in December. Beyond that, we also wanted to trail 2 bits of big news. First, our annual October sale will be coming soon and promises to be the biggest and best yet, which is super interesting. They seem to be upping their quality of their sales, which is odd. They what did they do last time? They started releasing the boxes and the booklets for their limited releases, so that you could essentially make a limited edition release of some of these films, which is really nice. But then they kept those going, and I can't remember if it was the last sale or the sale before, but they re-released their Sinbad set, which was a really, really nice way for them to go about, and it's different from the first one, so people couldn't be upset about the limited nature of that first one. It doesn't have DVDs in the second one, so there is still something to tell them apart. So yeah, their sales look great. Secondly, in a few weeks' time, we will be announcing our January 2023 titles. And just as the start of 2022 saw the launch of Indicator line in the US and Canada, so too will the new year see an exciting development for us. The appearance of the first Indicator 4K UHD titles for the UK and the US. We won't say any more at this moment, so stay tuned for more details in our October announcements. So, rumors with Indicator. I am hearing that Indicator may be working on a 4K box set of Jean Roland titles. Now, with Arrow's upcoming documentary that they're releasing, that was directed by Kat Ellinger, who was on my on the channel talking about that release, it would be a really good time to release those, and they will absolutely look incredible on 4K. It's those types of films that will do best with the format. I don't know if they would make that their first 4K title, but I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. With Indicator being one of the most consistent boutique Blu-ray labels out there, I really want to see what kind of choices they make here, because to me, they don't feel like the kind of company that would start, hyping up 4K UHD and just have it be a re-release of like Night of the Demon, Night of the Demon, or the Sinbad titles. Obviously, there's a lot of these that I would love to see in 4K, but I want to see newer titles released by some of these labels rather than just a lot of 4K upgrades. So I'm hoping that they continue to spread the love, and if they do upgrades, hopefully it's sparingly at most. Like Vinegar Syndrome has been really good about 4K upgrades so far. There's only been a few. So hopefully they go down that route. Stan Geezy worked with Berryman on the Guyver. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, Berryman is an absolute sweetheart. John says, my Best Buy is iffy on if they'll even have their own exclusives. Well, thankfully, it's not great in all areas, obviously, because the mail system sucks, but you can have this shipped to your house. They're exclusives for Best Buy. For most of them, you can't even order for store pickup anymore, which has been a weird development since, I believe, since the pandemic. They just kind of deleted it from their system. There's only been like a Marvel release that you could have store pickup on, and it hasn't even been all of them. Nor was it even the most recent one. I think it was Spider-Man that you could do in-store pickup. But yeah, you can have them sent to your house. Next up, speaking of Mondo Macabro from Ragnar a minute ago, regarding a haunted Turkish bathhouse. I'm going to kind of read all the way through this because to me, this is like an example of the perfect way to announce one of these, and absolutely just fully restores all confidence that everybody should continue to have in a company like this. By Fur, what's going on? Jeff said, yeah, I'll beef with the post office. That's fine. Video Man, and will we be getting Masters of the Universe from Arrow? Maybe. I mean, we'll see. I haven't heard anything about that. Mondo Macabro, as some of you may have heard, we have discovered an issue with the disc for a haunted Turkish bathhouse. It seems that the disc will not load on most players. So I've heard from other people that it's working just fine on their players, but for most people, it is not working at all. They are doing a replacement program, and it is going into production as of the day that they posted this. We have temporarily halted shipments of orders containing this title. If you have already received your copy, or if your copy is on the way to you now, you will automatically be sent the replacement disc separately once they are ready. There is no need to contact Mondo Macabro. If your order has not shipped yet, it will include the replacement disc in the package once shipping is resumed. You will just need to open and swap it out with the faulty disc that is already inside the case. Here's the important part. We are very sorry for this inconvenience. This was an error that occurred in the manufacturing phase and not during the authoring or QC process. We are working with our replicator to ensure that this does not happen again. Now, with some other companies, I may not 100% believe that, but with the way that Mondo takes everything so seriously and the fact that this is their first replacement disc in ever, literally, that goes a long way for me, for sure. John says, I had a feeling those Redemption Blues were going out of print, that either Arrow or someone would release them. Are they for sure going out of print? I have not heard that. I didn't know if they were on the Kino while supplies last sale or whatever. Should we set up a show? Should we set up a betting pool on which Steckler disc will need a replacement first? Everything I've heard about Steckler so far is that it's great. Yeah, I'll throw that out there. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but if any of you ever do the podcast version of this, I would love it if you go on to whatever you're using, whether it be Google Podcast or Apple Podcast, or I think it's on like Spotify, iHeartRadio, and like 15 other places, whatever. If you don't mind, leave a review, rate it. It surprisingly does a lot on the other side of the system, and they end up promoting the show to other people. So it would be neat to see, some of the numbers start rising for the podcast side. I don't pay attention to a whole lot of that, but it could be helpful. Any more that we can get on here, that'd be fun for me. I love this community. Coming in 2022 from Third Window Films. So very, very short announcement here. It's the end of September, and they're saying it's going to be coming before the end of this year to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Satoshi Miki's comedy masterpiece, Adrift in Tokyo. They are going to release the worldwide Blu-ray debut later this year. Everything I have heard about this film is that it's great. Eric should be in the chat still, hopefully. I've not gotten to see Adrift in Tokyo. I believe Eric probably has, knowing Eric's viewing habits. If he has, please let me know. Anybody else that has? Yeah, there you go. Eric says it's very good. I've heard that this is genuinely a masterpiece. Let me see. Hilton asks, did you see Error 4444's Twitter post showing off that sweet box? That box does look kind of amazing, I gotta be honest. Brian says, review coming. Thanks, Brian. You're amazing. Let's see. All right, that's it for now. Going to the next one. We got the next announcement from Visual Vengeance, and this one is really damn cool. This is a Blu-ray collector's edition of Heartland of Darkness. This is coming on November 8th, and it is the 1989 never-before-seen Linnea Quigley Satanic Panic epic. Now, first off, you had me at Linnea Quigley. For a lot of us that like these type of films, that makes sense. But a Satanic Panic epic starring Linnea Quigley, I am full blown sold. Like, I almost want to buy 2 of these just for that. That is such a great description. But then reading on, this also has been called Blood Church, by the way. In the small town of Copperton, Ohio, Paul Henson, a former big city journalist, buys a small local newspaper. He quickly falls into a wide-reaching conspiracy of ritualistic murder and cult mind control when he discovers that the entire town may be under the spell of a satanic reverend and his flock. Yes, that sounds amazing. As the clues and corpses pile up, Henson and his family are thrust into a life or death struggle to expose the truth and stop the demonic cabal's reign of evil. Shot in 1989 by Eric Swelstad on 16mm, not shot on video. Lost in obscurity and distribution false starts for over 30 years. Heartland of Darkness finally arrives on home video for the very first time ever and is packed with bonus features that spotlight the original creators and document the film's long history and final completion. Really, really, really cool. This is just a fantastic sounding release. But then these releases from Visual Vengeance are always incredible. So listen to this. New director supervised SD Master, which I kind of wish that they were going HD Master on this. I don't know why. If it was 16mm, probably didn't restore much. But there are tape and film elements, so that's probably why. Deeper into the Darkness, a brand new 40-minute behind-the-scenes documentary. There are 3 commentary tracks on this. Linnea Quigley is in a new interview talking about this. Then all kinds of archival TV interviews, spots, behind-the-scenes footage, trailers. There is a work print called Fallen Angels from 1990. A rare distributor promotional video called Blood Church from back then. 6 pages of liner notes by Tony Strauss of Wang's Chop magazine. Limited edition Heartland of Darkness prayer cloth, which, fantastic. That's great marketing. Limited slipcase and the first pressing only, a folded mini poster, and then, of course, their VHS sticker sets that they have been doing so great with. And I will say, the trailer for this looks remarkable. This movie looks fantastic. Completely fantastic. Let me take a look at some comments. Eric says, Discovering Cinema Podcast was the perfect link for the run. Nice. That's awesome. Air44 just made a lot of money because of your channel. We were 2 who bought their releases the same night after the interview. That's great. Yeah, supposedly that last wave did really good for them. Stan Geezy, totally off topic, but I just watched The Night House with Rebecca Hall and it's unrelentingly creepy. Okay, so The Night House. Amazing film. The way that they use negative space in those, for those that have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it, absolutely watch The Night House. It is a stupendous modern horror film. Really, really great and a really good one to watch this October. It's perfect for that. Rebecca Hall, though, amazing performance. She carries that entire film. She really gives this grief-stricken performance that is just beyond what it needed to be, and it delivers in spades. I am a big fan of twin films and doppelganger films, and I know that's a really specific thing to talk about, but like Dead Ringers from Cronenberg, big fan of it just because of the twin aspect. It's a really interesting idea. This movie takes the idea of a doppelganger film and twist it on its head, and it is so interesting. And that's not really a spoiler because even hearing that, completely different than what you would think going into it. The doppelganger aspect of it is such a a unique take on that style of film. I really, really enjoyed The Night House. Everybody absolutely needs to see it. It is so damn good. So damn good. Moving back into this. I totally forgot that I posted these here. If you have ever paid attention to Concept Media, they are a independent, mostly horror. Some of them are like slightly comedic films. And the biggest one that they did blew up primarily because the title of it, it's called Don't Fuck in the Woods. They are putting out some pretty interesting resin creatures from their films. Not creatures, sorry, resin figures. I'm reading the picture on the screen already. They're only making 30 of these, and I haven't checked if they've sold out, but it's a pretty good price if you get all 4 of them. So we have this one, which is from Don't Fuck in the Woods. We've got Bigfoot from their film Stranded. We've got Lacey from Don't Fuck in the Woods, and I love that they put a little censored part here. And then from the sequel, Don't Fuck in the Woods 2, they have Jane. And then the cool thing, you can buy all 4 of them. And if you get one at a time, it's $30. If you buy all 4, it's $100. Concept Media does some pretty good work. They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. For an indie horror studio, it's pretty good. Next up, we got some announcements from Umbrella. Fascinating release here. Loving the detail on this and what they did here. Old Boy from 2003 is coming from Umbrella. The first release of Old Boy on VHS. As you can see here, this very purple octopusy color. Octopusy. An average man who is kidnapped and imprisoned in a shabby cell for 15 years without any explanation. You know the story. It's Old Boy. Most of us have seen this. This movie is a masterpiece and one of the craziest movies of all time. We are getting, like I said, exclusive VHS number to 500. There is a reversible poster that is coming with this and some pretty good artwork and a slip on this with 8 lobby cards. There is a brand new audio commentary on this, but everything else on here has been used before. The new audio commentary is with Dominic Pierce and Aaron McCann. So if you're really into it, you may want it. And if you're really into collecting VHS, this is going to be a pretty rare one for sure. That is coming December 7th, by the way. Forgot to say that. Also in December, Hammer Horror Volume 1. Now, I understand Hammer Horrors have gotten released many, many times previously. These are ones that people have at least one copy of for the most part. But what's really cool, first off, this little box set comes with The Evil of Frankenstein, Paranoiac, and Nightmare. But the cool thing is that there are new audio commentaries and new little... they don't really classify it as an essay, but Kim Newman discusses the stars of these films. So on this first one, we get a new podcast, we get a new audio commentary, and then Kim Newman discusses Peter Cushing. On Paranoiac, we get a new audio commentary, Kim Newman discussing Oliver Reed, and then a new podcast. On Nightmare, new audio commentary, Kim Newman discusses Freddie Francis, and a new podcast. So if you're really into extras on the old Hammer Horror releases, this might be a box set you want. Orbit will probably get this in eventually. Grindhouse Video will probably carry it. Diabolic may carry it. Cinema Classics has also been getting in Umbrella titles, and they're usually pretty cheap. So keep an eye on retailers if you are into it. And this release looks pretty good. Nice art all around and hard box. We got there's a bonus disc. This is really cool. Bonus disc of over 100 Hammer trailers, and then there's a 16-page collector's booklet. Fun release, but again, Hammer stuff, a lot of people have at least one copy of those. Coming from Umbrella as part of their Sunburnt Screens line, which I gotta be honest, might be their least appreciated line, which is really good. These are usually very underseen films, and the moment I saw Sam Neill, I knew that I had to have this. I've not pre-ordered it, but oh my gosh, I'm definitely going to have to get this. This is from 1990, coming in December, A riotous roller coaster of murder and mayhem set in a multicultural inner Melbourne. This hit Australian comedy thriller, interesting, stars Sam Neill as Carl, a 40-ish no-hoper who takes a job as a cook in a seedy nightclub to escape his cantankerous mother. A flirtation with fetching barmaid Sophie, who is engaged to the nightclub owner, lands Carl on the wrong side of a viscous bouncer, but when attacked by his drug-dealing Turkish kitchen hand, Carl inflicts a grievous form of self-defense that sparks a deepening gangland feud. Best mate Dave is soon employed as Carl's protector and gravedigger as a band of cutthroats block Carl's path to his bartending sweetheart. Sounds great. Absolutely got to see this one. I love Sam Neill. I think he is not appreciated enough for sure. On this one, we are getting brand new 2022 Q&A with the director and cinematographer and production designer. There is also a new Death in Brunswick hits the road, and I love how they call it new. It's just because it hasn't been released previously, but it's an archival publicity tour featurette. And then we got 2 audio commentaries and Memories of Murder featurette with a whole bunch of people from the film. And then The Grass is Greener, acclaimed series detailing the lives of New Zealand artists in Australia. 2 fascinating documentaries on Sam Neill and John Clark. I mean, that sounds great. That sounds great. I absolutely love Kevin Costner and Sam Neill. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the 90s. That should be obvious. Let's see. Slipcover also looks really good. I really like the colors on this. This is the actual inner art here. And then I believe we got one more release from Umbrella, and this one is wild. The Box of Burt. December 7th from Umbrella, Burt Reynolds collection called The Box of Burt. This is from 1981 to 1984. We are getting Cannonball Run, Cannonball Run 2, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Stroker Ace, and The Man Who Loved Women. Burt Reynolds has been historically a little hit or miss for me, but pretty much every movie in this box set really hits for me. This is one I am probably going to have to get at some point. Love all of these, but man, I have seen so many people say they want to buy this just for this sticker that says, honk if you heart Burt. This is such a fun idea for a release. Glad Umbrella is doing it, and the cool thing is that they are getting new extras. So exclusive to the web store, you get the 5 vintage ad cards, 2 reversible posters, a musky, God, I can't believe they use these words, musky, sexy Burt air freshener, share the Burt bumper sticker, and then a booklet full of Burt. Oh man, that's a lot of B's. Cannonball Run gets an audio commentary with the director and producer, and then a featurette on the Cannonball Run story. Cannonball Run 2 gets a new audio commentary. That doesn't say who did it, but I believe we have confirmation that Nathaniel Thompson is the one that did that one. Then we get Rev Your Engines, a look back at the cross-country road race video essay by Andrew Nett. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, we get a new audio commentary by music historian Adam Devlin. And then Nothing Dirty Going On, Sex Work in Musicals video essay by Lee Gambin, which Lee was posting on Facebook, and this sounds really, really great. This looks like a wonderful release. Then Stroker Ace, I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I left out on. New audio commentary by Nathaniel Thompson. Again, there is a NASCAR movie trailer reel on this. And then a featurette on Burt Reynolds and Lonnie Anderson. And finally, The Man Who Loved Women, new audio commentary by Adrian Martin, and then a Blake Edwards trailer reel. Finally, a Hollywood Remembers Burt Reynolds featurette. I mean, it's a box of Burt. What else is there to say? This looks fantastic. Again, if you are a Burt Reynolds fan, I mean, first off, look at that art. This is such a great idea, and the way that they're leaning into it is pretty perfect. Let's see. Brian says, have to put that bumper sticker on the car. I'm sure it would attract some attention. Stan is upset there's no Deliverance, which, of course, it would be nice. But yeah, it feels like that would be a little out of place here. Umbrella is underrated and underappreciated. Completely agree there. That bumper sticker needs to be on a Trans Am. Great comment. That's a great comment. Let's see. Dead Sea Life says, I'm willing to bet it's not a Tom Weaver commentary. I believe Nathaniel Thompson did own up to it. I don't know why it's not on the page, but yeah. All right. So, on the home theater forums, we got an update on Warner Archives. This was passed on from, what's his last name? George, I think it's Felstein. Somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong there. Felstein or Feldestein, something like that. He released this whole statement to somebody to pass along on their forums to specify what is going on with Warner Archive. Now, one of the reasons people have been asking so many questions, first of all, there is very little that has come out from Warner Archive this year, pretty much at all. The second aspect of that is the clusterfuck that is happening between Warner and Discovery and this whole merger slash purchase slash awful thing that's been happening. So he wanted to make sure that everybody felt some sort of solace, understanding that Warner Archive is not going anywhere. So he came out and said there will be no Warner Archive releases in November. Rather than have everyone wait and guess what the new November titles will be, I wanted to, I thought it would make sense to communicate this to you and ask that you pass this message on publicly through the forum if you desire. This year has been a disappointment in terms of our number of releases due to many internal issues within the company. That's the bad news. So he pretty much admits there's been a lot of crap going on with Warner, but we all knew that publicly. But then we got the good news. Although we have often skipped December releases in the past, we will have 2 new releases early this December, and they couldn't be more different. Both are new HD masters from 4K scans of the original camera negatives. They are Attack of the 50-Foot Woman from 1958 and The Night of the Iguana from 1964. But then the really, really incredible part of this, in 2023, the Warner Archive Collection releases currently in the works number over 50 new film titles. There will be more Blu-ray classic animation and hopefully some new TV content. 2023 will look much more like 2021 did with a plethora of exciting releases. So, Warner Archive is looking to come back strong, starting in December and continuing throughout all of 2023. If they are really doing 50 titles, unless they're planning on like a box set or some compilations, we're talking, an average of 4+ per month. That is huge. Considering we are only getting 4 total titles in October, November, or May, is it October? Yeah, October, November, December. We're getting 4 total titles from Warner Archive. So to average that every month is a pretty huge increase. I'm eager to see if they can hold to that. Although nowhere in there does he say all 50 are coming in 2023, I guess. But they are working on, 50+ titles at this point. So we shall see. Hopefully Warner Archive continues. They are, let's see, what is the better way to say this? They are one of the better Blu-ray companies for restorations of genuine underseen classics. Their restorations are usually incredible because it is coming from a studio that has archived their own prints for decades and decades. They do very well with that aspect, and I would not doubt that anything that they have planned is probably going to look pretty amazing, especially when it's at least a 4K scan on a Blu-ray disc. They are usually wonderful. Speaking of 4K, just this morning, we got some announcements from Eureka, including on December 5th, they are releasing their first Masters of Cinema 4K UHD title, and that is The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from 1920. And this release looks pretty dang special. For those that don't know, this is a German film from 1920. It is a full-on 4K UHD presentation from the restoration that was done in 2014. That restoration looks great, but this is going to make it look even better on a UHD. There is a limited 100-page book featuring archival writing and articles with vintage writing on the film by a whole bunch of people. We are getting original German intertitles with optional English subtitles, new audio commentary by Kevin Lyons and Jonathan Rigby. There is an archival audio commentary by David Kalat, a brand new interview with author and critic Kim Newman again, video essay by David Cairns, and then a 52-minute documentary on the cultural and historical impact of the film, and 3 short video pieces about the film's restoration. Now, unfortunately, they were unable to get the documentary that was on a previous release of this. Oh gosh, what release was that on? I can't remember which one, but yeah, this is a kind of a very important 4K for like the boutique world, I feel like. This is one that I think is going to shape how many more of these we actually get. If you are interested in silent films, if you are interested in classic cinema, I don't normally speak out like this, but I will say that this is a release that probably needs our support, and not even necessarily because they're hurting for money or anything, but literally just to speak with our pockets and say, we want more like this. There are tons of films that, you know, many of us could name right now that would look incredible in 4K from that time. The Man Who Laughs is a really great example. The original Nosferatu. There are, even Stan Geezy says, where's the 4K of Metropolis? That one would look ridiculously great. There is so much that could ride on how well this film sells. And when it comes to archiving film, in terms of historical impact and for future generations, it is great to see these companies doing it, but it would go a long way if you speak with your pocketbook on this one and really stand up for high quality cinema. This one has lasted literally more than a century, and that is pretty damn cool to get that on the highest quality home video format 102 years after it came out. So yeah, this is a pretty big deal. Hopefully that felt like a long enough moment for this one. This is a big title for them to be putting out on UHD, especially for their first UHD. But another big one that a lot of people are excited about, Yes, Madam, from 1985. So this is a title that was originally released as Police Assassins in the UK. Yes, Madams was the first starring role for Michelle Yeoh and Cynthia Rothrock, and this led to a ridiculous great genre that Eric, the Asian movie enthusiast, and myself and a few others have been talking about for the last year as really needing to see a bunch of releases from, and this pretty much inspired the Girls with Guns genre. So Michelle Yeoh, who is hot right now. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once has been a huge hit for her this year. She's been everywhere, basically. This is a really, really good one to go and well-round, basically, her filmography for yourself. This one's coming out with a slipcase, 2,000 copies, limited. It's going to be a Blu-ray from a brand new 2K restoration. You get the original Cantonese mono audio. You get the optional English dubbed audio. You get optional English subs, newly translated for this release. I love when they do that. New audio commentary by Frank Jang and Michael Worth, and then a brand new feature-length audio commentary by Mike Leader and Arn Venema. Brand new select scene commentary with Cynthia Rothrock. She is on this new interview with Cynthia Rothrock. There is a locations featurette, an old interview with Michelle Yeoh, some other archival stuff on here. This is going to be a pretty dang good release, and we got a booklet too, 2,000 copies. I really hope that this does well and we get more like this. I am hearing that we may be getting this in the US, but I don't know that that is for sure going to be the case. Um, these sort of titles will end up costing a lot more for US distributors than a UK distributor, primarily because the size of the market. So, uh, if you, I mean, we talked about the Error 4444 interview a little while ago. We did discuss there how expensive, or no, not that interview. It was Third Window Films. That was one that we discussed this, that the cost of the contract for a lot of these Asian films depends on where it's being put out. And the UK ones, it's multiple magnitudes smaller cost to put out in the UK than in the US. So we'll see. It would be nice to get a region A release, but also you should be region free. At this point in time, pretty much everybody that is following stuff like this should be region free. It is the best time to do it for sure. Eureka's last release, coming out on December 5th, is a Cat and Canary and Ghostbreakers double feature featuring Bob Hope. This is going to get some new features on Eureka Classics. We got 2,000 slips for the limited edition. We got a new audio commentary on both films with Kevin Lyons and Jonathan Rigby. Kim Newman does some, essays on The Cat and the Canary and the Ghostbreakers. There is the 1949 radio adaptation, but again, more Bob Hope films getting out there. Seems to be a big name right here. Kino just did a handful of them. I wouldn't be surprised if we keep getting some of these Bob Hope titles. A lot of people that grew up with Bob Hope, this is like hitting that perfect nostalgic age for people to be looking at these. Alrighty, only a few more left, I believe. Coming on November 1st from Cohen Media Group, we get The Good Boss from 2021, featuring Javier Bardem. Academy Award winner Javier Bardem stars as Blanco, proprietor of Basculas Blanco, a Spanish company producing industrial scales. And I clicked away like an idiot. Let's see. Industrial scales in a provincial Spanish town, which awaits the imminent visit from a committee that will decide if they merit a local business excellence award. Everything has to be perfect when the time comes. Working against the clock, Blanco pulls out all the stops to address and resolve issues with his employees, crossing every imaginable line in the process. Cohen Media Group, they put out a lot of interesting titles, and this is one I'm really interested in seeing. Javier Bardem playing that sort of a role would make a very interesting double feature with No Country for Old Men. Let's see. Jeff says, Kim Newman is really busy. I mean, yeah, that is his job. He is doing pretty much releases with most labels most months, so that makes sense. Yeah, I would hope he would stay busy with how much he's doing. Next Tuesday, October 4th, A24 is releasing an exclusive to their shop version of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Now, I gotta ask, why is this a site exclusive? A24 really could have made this a wide release, and if they wanted to, do a side exclusive that's a 4K. That's fine, I guess. I don't love that either, but I feel like the average consumer should be more able to pick this up at, a Best Buy or a Walmart. A24 titles sell like crazy. I don't understand why this is going to be a side exclusive. From the picture, you might get the idea that it's going to come with the little figure. It is not going to come with the figure. They did, however, state in a comment that they will be available to purchase starting in November. So keep an eye out on that. And by then, you should be able to pick up their release of the film and the figure at the same time. So if you want to wait, save some money until November. Everybody I trust that has seen this says that Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is really great. So if you've not checked it out yet, I haven't seen it because I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, but I'm really interested in seeing it for sure. And finally, this is a big one for this week, but the last thing to talk about is Scream Factory started their Shocktober sale, and this year is genuinely a sale. It commemorates Scream Factory's 10th anniversary. Throughout the week-long sale, customers can save 50% off the list price on all included titles, Now, usually when they have a sentence like that, it really limits how many titles are on sale. If you have not checked this sale out, I would. There is a very long page of releases that are on sale this time, some of them for really great prices. I've not checked since, gosh, like an hour after this got posted, I think was the last time I looked. But when I checked, there was some things that were really surprising. One that I wanted to point out, it's I think it was the Prince of Darkness. It was one of the Carpenter 4Ks. I think it was $28 and still came with the Sacred Bones vinyl. For $28, that is an incredible price. So you're going to get the film in 4K with the slipcover and everything, and the Sacred Bones vinyl. That is a remarkable package for less than $30. And I believe when it first came out, that was like $50. So 100% worth it. Those Carpenter 4Ks, Studio Canal could do a lot better on their 4Ks. I don't think that's much of a hot take to say that. However, the Scream Factory release of the Studio Canal scan is actually a little better than the Studio Canal released version. So the compression is a little better. The titles that we have gotten that were Studio Canal scans, they're just very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. Continuing though, we are even giving away brand new Scream Factory t-shirts to everyone who spends over $100 during this sale. This incredibly limited shirt is only available during the sale, so grab one while you can. The t-shirt is available for purchase for customers who don't want to spend over $100, or if they would like to receive more than one per order. So the way that they're doing this is really, really customer friendly, actually. Once you add $100 worth of items into your cart, a little pop-up shows up and says, what's your size? You put in your size and it automatically gets added to your cart. Pretty great way to go about it. Unfortunately, the only way for you to view the shirt, if you're not looking on social media, is to look on their pre-order page. It doesn't show up when it asks for your size. So if you want to check that out, go to the pre-order page, or shoot, I can probably bring it up right here. Let me see. It's a surprisingly decent shirt, I thought. So here's the shirt design. It's gory, obviously, and really hits on the physical media aspect, but it's a Scream Factory shirt, and that's pretty rare. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, these sales are usually way worse than this. So if you are into Scream Factory or have been waiting, some of the titles are absolutely worth it at this price. If you want, like it said, you can buy the shirt by itself, but it's $30. It's almost worth it right there to go and purchase $100 worth of films to get a free $30 shirt. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but considering the prices, you could get a lot for that much money right now. Scream Factory has put out some incredible titles over the years. I do understand the frustration of the last year and a half of Scream Factory mostly putting out 4K upgrades. I've been talking to a couple people about this literally today, and I'm going to go read some of my comments real quick because I do think that I should. They asked about Scream Factory, and what did I say? Where is it? They said they've barely released any new titles this year, like only a handful. And I did say, I think it's more than people are thinking. It's a little more than people are remembering over the entire year. But they are upgrading a lot of catalog titles to 4K for sure. But I also think they are probably recovering from the pandemic and a few other things. A lot of people that have complained about this will remember this vividly. Their QC has taken a big hit over the last couple of years. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were either like pumping the brakes a little bit or putting new processes in place. And that's why we're getting a lot of these 4K upgrades. And hopefully newer titles are also coming. But I'm a little too optimistic sometimes. So pretty much at this point, only time can tell. We should be getting the, I think it's December titles announced on Monday. It appears that we already know of one that was going around this circuit today because Scream Factory leaked it themselves. If you Google Scream Factory, I think it's on a desktop computer. One of the options will say to pre-order the brand new Dawn of the Dead 4K. it is the Zack Snyder remake that is coming on 4K. So we will be talking about that most likely next week. It is a good movie, so I'm glad we're getting that one. But again, they already released it. I do hope we are getting more. Speaking of next week, what's coming out next week? Let's discuss those. I'm dying of thirst. And for some reason, it's super hot down here and really, really, really uncharacteristically hot. Usually it's nice down here. Army of Darkness 4K releases finally. This one, I think they teased this one originally in 2020 in a magazine article, and everybody's been asking for almost 2 full years, where's Army of Darkness? And it's finally here next Tuesday. And I've not gotten mine yet, but everybody that has says that it looks great. So full faith in this one. Unfortunately, no new extras and only one cut in 4K. Fright Night 4K releasing next week. Night of the Living Dead 4K releasing next week. Halloween 4K collection releasing next week. Of course, that's Halloween 6, 7, and 8. Bram Stoker's Dracula releasing in a new 4K. The old one is going to have a little bit that is not going to be as good as this new 4K Steelbook. We got some new updated subtitles and some other things going into it. The Army of Darkness 4K Steelbook comes out. Scream 2 comes out on 4K. Catch Me If You Can. This is only coming out in a Blu-ray Steelbook, but just like Wayne's World earlier this year, Wayne's World came out in a Blu-ray Steelbook and is now coming out in the same Steelbook, but in 4K. I'm willing to bet that Catch Me If You Can comes out in another 6 or 7 months on 4K as well. And it'll probably be in this exact same Steelbook. And they will, try to get the money from it. And it's such a crappy thing to do. I really wish Paramount was not doing that. Let's see. Quiet Rob says, got the Steelbook version of Army of Darkness. Good looking for sure. Nice. John is getting Scream 2 4K and Fright Night 4K. I'm really, really into Fright Night. I've never loved the look of their Blu-ray releases for that film. So I'm really hoping that the 4K, it really shines. Why is this here separately? That's odd. Watcher is coming out. I've heard some great reviews about this film. I'm considering this one. Then we got some Mill Creek VHS retro releases of The Paper, The Replacement Killers, The Cure. Let me see. Really odd. We talked about this last week, I think. Or no, we talked about this on Tuesday. Dead for a Dollar. This is coming out, and it is a Walter Hill title that is not going theatrical. And the worst part about it is it stars Christoph Waltz and Willem Dafoe. And you can get it on Blu-ray on Amazon right now for like $11.99. The trailer looks awful. Awful. I am sad about that. I really hope that it's better than it looks, but it's Walter Hill. I mean, he's a freaking goat, basically. So I'm hoping that it's so much better than it looks. Definitely gonna have to check that one out at some point. Shadowlands is coming as one of those Mill Creek Ultra Retro VHS covers. Let's see what else. They Crawl Beneath. Heard some good things about that one. Bad Santa 2 coming from Shout Factory for some reason. Which, by the way, already has a 4K title, 4K release, and now it's coming out on Blu-ray from Shout Factory. Anyways, I think that is it that we were going to talk about this week for releases. All right. I think that's it, everybody. Any lingering questions or, rumors going around the hobby right now? There's so much happening that it's hard to stay up with for everybody. So if you are out of the loop on something, let me know. I'm always happy to answer here. If not, and you're watching later or listening, send a comment in. I pretty much respond to everything. Lots coming up for the channel. One thing I did want to say that I posted in my Discord for the patrons today, most of them have gotten a chance to see it. So I wanted to throw out a thank you, and mostly for the community, the people that comment, the people that are here every single Thursday. This year has been wild for this channel. Started very low, nowhere near, 1,000 subscribers or anything like that. And I'm not even really going for numbers or anything, but I am I'm seeing weird things for me start happening behind the scenes, and things like people seeking me out for interviewing them. And I scheduled an interview for a couple weeks from now that is going to be easily the biggest name that's ever been associated with my channel. And it's just been a very humbling day in terms of realizing that you guys have jumped up and made this a welcoming, accepting community. And I appreciate that, because it's nice to not have to deal with many assholes. I am a busy person, and to not have to clean up comments from rude people or police people who are trying to gatekeep others or something like that, it gets aggravating. And I see that every day as I admin some of these stupid Facebook groups. I really should stop doing that, because that gets really annoying. But genuinely, just thank you to you guys. Without this community and what is happening, I would not be getting opportunities like that. So I appreciate it. I just like movies. I like being able to hold these movies, and you guys are why I continue to do this, because it is so much fun just to, discuss things like In Bruges and how amazing it is, and Walter Hill possibly releasing a terrible movie, and the discussion about things like Mondo Macabro and region locking and all that stuff. It's just fun, and it's something that I'm super passionate about. And with my odd life that I've lived so far, there's so many different things that I've not been happy doing, and this is genuinely the first time that I've been happy for a long period of time doing something like this. So I really just want to say thank you guys. It's been a very fulfilling time lately. And I've got sort of a secret project that I'm working on with another boutique collecting entity out there in the world, and I am hoping that you guys will get excited about something. I'm going to need you guys to be like a street team of sorts coming out soon, and that is probably going to get announced in like 3 or 4 weeks, but it is going to be hopefully a pretty big deal for everybody, because it's going to be pretty fun. We are working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I'm just grateful for all you guys. Jeff, I'm ashamed to say I still haven't seen Last Man Standing. I'm very behind. John, you're ridiculously kind. I can't wait to interview you too. Rob says, a reminder, and wanted to share this. I totally forgot. Thank you, Rob. Best Buy did fix the issue with the Reservoir Dogs 4K Steelbook. If you were waiting to order that, it is working now. So please do. That Steelbook is, a lot of people are questioning the artwork, but it's going to be an interesting one to see it in hand. I'm curious how that comes. I really just wish they used the character from the film rather than a computer graphic, with the whole ear coming out. Like, it would have been a fun thing if it was the actual ear coming off of, not an actual ear. That was a weird way to say that. If it was a picture of the actual actor with the ear coming off. Anyways, I appreciate you all. Like I said, I think that's it. Have a wonderful night. I appreciate all the comments. Once again, shout out as always to all the beautiful patrons in the channel. You guys are amazing, and the Discord is so much more active than I expected. If you are ever wanting to be a part of a very active film fan and physical media fan community, link in the description below, because the Patreon stuff is so much more active than I ever expected it to be. Again, appreciate you all. Please pay attention to all the stuff coming out, because some of your favorite titles are coming and they look ridiculously good. So as usual, from one collector to all of you, hope you guys have a good night. We'll see you next Thursday. More videos coming to the channel as always. See you next time.